Future Women of the United States by Mara Shepard. You're traveling to another time and place, a place where the Supreme Court is becoming increasingly conservative and corporations are creeping into the government. Is this the past? Is it the future? Only time will tell as we enter the speculative fiction zone. As a longtime lover of everything speculative science fiction, by the time I reached my senior year of college, I'd written shockingly little within the genre. The way in which my favorite authors, Ray Bradbury, George Orwell, Jerry Oltien, seemed to be able to predict and build complex futures off existing societies was extremely intimidating. What if my work doesn't hold up to the test of time as well as 1984 or 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea? Originally, I was going to build my thesis around pandemics. It was topical, historical, and something I could analyze but also personalize. I struggled to begin. Although it was interesting, I felt burnt out enough just living through it. I wanted to write something cathartic, something I could use as an escape from the hand sanitizer and lockdowns. I finally wanted to write about the future. In the fall of 2021, the outlook wasn't great. Texas had just enacted SB 8, their anti-abortion bill, and the debate over women's anatomy was all over the news once again. The online space was especially vocal, galvanized by the Trump presidency and January 6th insurrection that had gotten a little blowback. I had to confront this type of empowered conservative multiple times in my own family and found myself having to justify my rights to my own sexuality and autonomy over and over. When I thought about the future as they described it, it filled me with anxiety. Separation of church and state, already too close for comfort, should be non-existent in their eyes. In January 2022, banning books made it into the news again. The cycles of history that we are doomed to repeat began to make a lot more sense. I began to compile a list of themes I thought should be addressed in my work. I ended up with identity, religion, class, politics, and environmentalism. My main influences for the overall collection were Inventory by Carmen Maria Machado, The Handmaid's Tale by Margaret Atwood, The Parable of the Sower by Octavia Butler, the documentary Jesus Camp, and the limited series Mrs. America. I outlined 4 short stories in the fall dealing with abortion rights, corporate towns, environmentalism, and gay marriage. However, the environmental story is not in the final collection as it became too large of a narrative to contain into a short story and is now probably going to be my first novel. The story that replaced it changed the order of my collection to abortion rights, gay marriage, corporate towns, and the ethics of AI, with the stronger themes of identity, autonomy, and sexuality running through them all. What interested me most about writing 4 short stories was the ability to play around with formatting, voice, and characters. I liked the way Inventory was in the form of a list, and I read several other stories that also played with form, like Nino Cipri's Dead Air, which contains a voice recording transcript. My first story, Dear Baby, is written as if it is addressing the unborn child of the narrator, like a spoken letter, to add a layer of intimacy to the piece. Unravel, my second story, is modeled after a knitting pattern to reinforce the action of the story, which includes both a knitter and an unraveling relationship. Drone is chronicled as a literal timeline of events. I liked how the form reinforces the theme of clocking in and out as a worker, as well as conformity to a certain fixed schedule. This fits the world I'm creating where someone's fate is predetermined and everyone is expected to be a cog inside a corporate machine. In Your Friendly Greeter is Now Automatized, the voice moves back to a more interior one. My personal connection to my characters is from my own experiences living near LA. All of my friends were either in film or modeling. Objectification and harassment was both common and expected. Selling yourself in various ways was easy. I was inspired to write the last story, Your Friendly Greeter Has Now Been Automatized, from a body painting party I went to in Bel Air. We were invited by a friend who makes a living as a living canvas, which entails walking around events in heels and body paint and nothing else. Girls are at these parties to be looked at but never touched. We're objects. I went as an android. I always was an android or space girl. We were standing and chatting when a man came up to our group who was old enough to be my grandfather. We all said hi and turned back to our conversation. Before he walked away, he leaned toward me and said, "I want to dress you like a doll." Of all the things men have said to me over the years, I've never forgotten that comment, and it lives on in this story where a man asks Stella, the narrator, where he can buy her uniform so he can dress his own android up to look like her. Here's how she got into that situation. They pin a shiny oblong disc to the crisp blue fabric and tell me I'm a greeter now. I stand in the doorway of a large box store and smile and wave. I say welcome, making sure the influx of my tone is friendly. Sometimes people ask me questions. I am allowed to answer most of them. Questions I can answer. I'm in a rush. Where are the diapers? Where is the restroom? Do you sell peanuts? Questions I am programmed to answer only one way. Are you happy? Of course. Do you sell guns? All guns are illegal. Are you sure that is what you meant? Could you watch my kids? I'll only be a second. No, I'm sorry. Your children must stay with you at all times. Questions they never thought about and therefore did not prepare me for. Can I take you home? What is your going rate? Why do they make androids so sexy? The shiny pin has my name engraved onto it. Stella. Easy to read because it is spelled how it sounds. This is the part of what makes me a good greeter. People do not want to be confused right when they walk through the door. People do not want to imagine there is life outside their perfect suburb where everyone speaks the same language and shops at the same store. This is why they gave me blonde hair and blue glass eyes. I can really blink. My eyes match my shirt. People like to compliment me on this even though I had no choice. Sometimes when there are no people to greet, I imagine what it would be like to have dark curly hair and a neon pink dress. I've not seen many things in that color, and I think it stands out. We sell dresses at this store, along with food, electronics, and home essentials. We even sell androids in large person-sized boxes, ready to be activated in your own home. I was activated here at the store. I have never left. At night, after the doors are locked, I walk to the break room and plug myself in next to the ancient TV that sits atop a wobbly wooden cart. This TV plays advertisements and announcements for the store on loop, so employees are always surrounded by the store's doctrine. It makes for ideal employees because they always know what is new and in stock. I power down for the night by counting backwards into the dark. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. In the morning, my eyes opened and I see it is now light in the break room. There are no windows, but the employees know to turn on the lights for me while they open the store. I unplug myself and make sure my clothes are still crisp. Sometimes they need steaming. Sometimes my hair needs brushing, or I need a spritz of perfume. I keep all these tools in the break room and use them when needed. Then I walk to the entrance to start my day, past rows and rows of shelves stacked into the cavernous ceiling. My tastefully low heels echo off the concrete floor. It is a vast kingdom I guard. There is everything one could possibly want here. There is no reason to leave. It takes me 10 minutes to walk from the break room to the front entrance where I am stationed. As I walk, I run through my system, checking to make sure all of my chips are functioning at full capacity. Sometimes there is new programming in my head I do not recognize. I explore those boundaries. Then I get to my station. I adjust my name tag. I unlock the 4 double doors with my key. There are always people outside waiting for me to let them in, as if we will run out of products if they do not get to them first. My employers tell me that humans used to do this job, but they would need breaks to eat food and get off their feet. They also got to keep their payments. I am paid, but since I belong to the store owner, he cashes my wages for me. I do not know what he does with the money. Sometimes I think about this when there are no people to greet. When I was first activated, they were arguing about it. Someone was telling the store owner I was a newer model and too smart for the job. But the store owner said, "Tough tits, she has the look," and nobody could argue with him because he bought me. This is why I think about pink dresses and money. I cannot think about my position. It gives me migraines. When I first started, I became aware that I only mattered as much as the microwaves and mini fridges people came here to buy. It made me uncomfortable and I tried to talk about it. But the store supervisor said I served a purpose, and that was something even humans wished they had, something they could not buy in any store. When I woke up the next morning, I would get migraines which I had never had before when I followed certain trains of thought. So I think about wearing a pink dress.